Hello. Hi, my name is Elissa Shay, and I'm an actress and a filmmaker, which means I also produce, write, and direct films. I came here all the way from Los Angeles, California, to connect with all of you. A little bit more about me. I grew up in a suburb outside of Chicago. I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I majored in communication arts, TV, radio, film production, and all that to say, I finally moved to Los Angeles, where I found my voice and my purpose in telling stories through film. When I was first approached about giving this talk, I really didn't know which road I wanted to walk down. I have a lot of hopes and dreams for the future. The task of finding the proper words to inspire the youth was never something I thought I'd have the opportunity to do on this platform. So just know that for me, this is extremely emotional and beautifully overwhelming. So thank you for being here. The future means a lot to me because whether I like it or not, it's coming. That is a responsibility I feel we need to build up to the youth to accept. The circumstances in which we exist right now do not have to delegate what the future will look like, but we need to start being role models that people can stand behind. Leaders that can show us new and exciting ways to look at the same problems and create new solutions. There is evidence and proof all around us that the way we're living is not sustainable. If we don't make choices to change the way we are living, we won't be able to think about a tomorrow or a future. We will be forced to make choices in times of crisis instead of choices that can build a foundation of potential and growth. Today, here where we stand, we are someone else's future from years past. If we want the same for the generations to come, we need to find a way to come together and start being better role models. At the end of the day, we should all strive to inspire and connect with everyone around us, to reach a place where we can all find what we have in common instead of driving the world further apart based on what is different. Now, that doesn't mean we always have to agree, but it does mean we have to have faith. Faith that we are all human beings with a purpose. And the goal should be, how can we aid one another in the pursuit of that purpose? We need to be better role models, and we need to remember, whether we ask for it or not, someone somewhere looks up to us, and we need to live up to the expectations of what that means. There are eyes on us at all times, especially in my industry. There are, these days with social media and cell phones. It's our duty to step up and be the best versions of ourselves. We have to have accountability for our words and should be held with integrity to a standard to always do what we say. So, how do we engage and become better role models? I believe to do this, we need to step backward. We need to simplify, and we need to find courage to trust each other again. We have created a world of me, myself, and I based on the fact that we don't trust the person next to us to do the right thing. But I think inherently we want to do what is right. We want to find hope, and at the very core, we all want to be loved. Love is the one condition that inspires change, creates hope, and sets a stage for success and rehabilitation. I would like to now play a trailer for a film I produced called Mully. The film, to me, is the perfect example and power of one person, how steadfast dedication to a cause greater than oneself can only truly have an impact when shown through action. This man is a role model. If you'd play the trailer, please.
I remember one day I woke up and everybody had gone. I was abandoned, a child without parent. I became a beggar. I became a street boy. I walked to the city of Nairobi to get a new life. I was so happy. I have a family, I have a car, I had a dream. I want to do business.
He formed Mully's Agencies Limited. And then my dad had a monopoly in oil and gas.
It was my time. I was really tormented by these boys in the street. I saw faces of me, and I could not walk anymore. I cried, why is it that God wanted me to take me back again? I will never, ever work for money again.
That's called total madness. That's what it is.
Dad says that he needed to sell everything and start helping the poor in the society, the children who are abandoned.
How do you let go of what you hold dearly? And how do you decide when to share your love?
Kenya was burning. We can't let this happen. We have to do something.
The children did not have food. If we don't step in, children are going to die. We had 3 children, 4 children, and the number kept on growing.
He said, welcome, this is your family now. These are all your brothers and sisters.
That is a miracle.
We are one family. We are one Kenya. When I remember that, I see the impossible becoming possible.
Thank you. Okay, so over the past 2 years, I have found myself amongst a man that has taught me about the simplicity of life, about gratitude for a roof over my head and food on my table. His name is Charles Mully. To fill you in a little, Charles is one of my heroes and the greatest role model I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. The past 2 years, I had the opportunity to get to know him inside and out by producing this feature-length documentary alongside my team of Scott Hayes and Lucas Benkin. Charles was the kid you'd write off with a really low chance of success to achieve much in life. But as you can see, what he accomplishes is nothing short of miraculous. He was born in Kenya to a very poor mother and father, and his father found refuge in alcohol, which inevitably led to physical abuse and then abandonment. And this is how Charles came to be an orphan. He suffered on the streets for 10 years before finally finding the courage to leave his small town and head for the big city of Nairobi in the hopes of finding a job. By the grace of God, a woman invited him in and gave him that job. That one small act of kindness set a man on his path to meteoric success. He learned all he could and eventually opened his own businesses. Everything he touched turned to gold, and he found himself an oil tycoon in Kenya, married with 8 beautiful children. He had left behind his old life. He had created a new life and a new future. As if that wasn't enough, he found the courage to do more. Now, if I were to stop the story there, you'd say, well, that kind of sounds a little bit like how people function today. But I hope when I finish, you feel a little bit differently. 20 years into Charles's career, his car was stolen by a gang of street boys, much like who he used to be. He hated these boys, and it haunted him for a very long time. After wrestling with the demons of his past, he finally found peace in a decision that few would have the courage to make. He felt a calling on his life to give everything up and start rescuing street children who needed a chance at life, much like the one he was given. He started to go out into the night and bring home drug addicts, prostitutes, and abandoned children, and what he said to them was, the future doesn't have to be what it looks like. He sold off every business and committed his life to saving street children. Now, if Charles hadn't had courage and conviction, he would have failed. He'd be just another person who tried to do a great thing, and he probably did for a few people. But the strength he finds to keep the work going is life-changing at an exponential rate. He trusted with enough love and guidance, he would influence these children to become upstanding citizens, and he was right. So fast forward to 2015. He has been rescuing street children for over 25 years. He has legally adopted over 3,000 of them, and he has rescued, educated, and rehabilitated over 10,000 children. He has reintegrated them back into society and has found a solution to the cyclical pattern of abuse and despair. So I tell you this not to brag about a man, but to hopefully inspire you to understand that trust, faith, and dedication can change the world, and that by leading by example is the best way to instill change and teach valuable lessons. The work Charles is doing is not everyone's purpose, but we can all participate in a future that looks more like a place of love, compassion, and hard work. It's not going to be easy, and and the work it will take to undo past damage is going to take time. But with an example like Charles Mully living in the world, it becomes evidence we can all do more to make the future what we wish it to be, together. So what it looks like for me: to use my voice and my skill set to illuminate individuals or brilliant ideas, such as this one, to create a platform for people who feel they cannot be heard, and to always fight for what's right and represent the underdog. I want to be a role model that young people, and especially young women, can look up to, with integrity, grace, and most of all, humility. So I leave you with this: we aren't tied to any future. I stand here today to inspire you and motivate you to make bold choices and have no fear. The future is ours for the taking. No matter where you come from, what walk of life you have had, you have the power and ability to be different and to change your future, which will in turn contribute to change the future of the world. The responsibility for the future is ours. Now let's all make choices to make the best of it. Can you be, or are you, the role model you needed when you were a child? Thank you.